Welcome back to your new favourite podcast about your old favourite show. It is No Kids 3 Money, a Simpsons podcast through the lens of time. This is one half of your host, Ned, just dropping in before the show here to explain today's episode a little bit. Today's episode is part one of a two-part episode of something we've had in the vault for a while that we did with our good friend Mont, relatively early on in the show's runnings. It's just about Mont's favourite episodes of The Simpsons, where we go on a billion tangents. Anybody that knows Mont knows that, you know, you definitely end up on a bunch of tangents when you're speaking with him in any way, shape or form, but that's what we love about him. And the second part, which we'll be dropping next week, is the same format that we usually do, but based on Mont's favourite show, King of the Hill, which is apparently getting a revival this year. In the meantime, we've been, relatively busy in our personal lives, but we've been working on a new format for the show, trying to make it a little bit more streamlined, so it's a little bit easier for us and a little bit better to listen to for you guys. Some brand new episodes with that new format will be dropping in about 2 weeks' time, but in the meantime, enjoy this episode from the Vault with Mont. You can find this podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. You can get at us at nokids3money podcast@gmail.com if you have any questions. And enjoy the episode. And speak to you guys when I speak to you.
Really did.
Which is true, means that for us all.
Up yours, children.
Why doesn't mine look like that? And we never did.
Welcome to yet another No Kids 3 Money special Christmas episode. I am 1/3 of your host this week, Ned.
And I'm Matt.
And I am Mont.
Yes.
Howdy.
Returning,
Welcome.
not to this podcast, but to the podcast scene in general.
A general return.
Yes.
Return to this plane.
Yes. So, what do we have in store for the people this week, Matt?
Since I organised this entire day, I'll give you guys the rundown, and
Mr. Simpson, no!
that's about as far as I got. No, we'll be discussing some Simpsons, as we haven't done before, and
Rare for us.
possible other shows like King of the Hill
Yeah.
and Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, so up top, we'll just
That's true.
sort of get a little bit of a general conversation going about Mont's favourite episodes of The Simpsons, considering this is a Simpsons show. You wouldn't know that from our last episode. But after that, we're going to speak a little bit about King of the Hill, which is Mont's favourite animated show.
Yes, I mean, it's a different kettle of fish than The Simpsons, really. Like, it's just a different thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not... I mean, I won't talk about it generally now. We'll talk about the Simpsons thing, but yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's a bit less episodic, so you kind of it's got to grow on you a bit, the characters, sort of thing. So don't dismiss it after a couple watches, is all I'll say to those out there.
I mean, and yeah, once again, not to speak about it before we're going to speak about it, but that, in essence, is what I generally sort of glean from it. Like, watching those 2 episodes that you told us to watch, I sort of picked up from that it's like you need to understand this show more to actually understand the nuances in its
And I know
humor and stuff
it's
like that.
never good when something comes with a caveat like that. Like, oh, don't promise you it gets good, but I do promise you it does get good.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's
in
the
this
worst.
case it applies. And it's Mike Judge, so he's got a good track record.
It's the
If
worst
you're
selling-
familiar with his work.
Worst selling point of all time when you got to tell somebody oh, you got to watch fucking 5 or 6 episodes. It's an acquired show. It's no, you just want to be able to enjoy something straight off the bat.
Also, there's 14 seasons with something like 20 episodes a season, so it's
gotta be
even
doing
within
well.
a season itself, there's very good, there's a lot of variation in episodes.
Yes.
It's not samey. There's some sort of running back plots that aren't necessarily required to know to enjoy the show, but they help. Like knowing who a character is when he comes and just pops up. It's not just a zany thing if you know his character and the context of it,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But like we said, we're going to speak about your favorite episodes up top. Do you have a particular ranking kind of thing, or just your favorite 3 episodes in general?
I mean, yeah, the top one's probably my favorite. The other 2 are just sort of arbitrarily placed, I would say.
Let's talk
but it's
about-
a very predictable top one, I think, because of one of the main characters in it. So.
And centipede.
yes, he's only in one thing. So
Yes.
If you squint real hard, you'll be able to see it.
We are pretty
So-
casual around here.
Yes, sir. I will notice that. Very casual, Mr. Scorpion.
Don't call me Mr. Scorpion. It's Mr. Scorpio, but don't call me that either. Call me Hank. Say, before we continue our tour, would you mind hanging my coat up on the wall, please?
Let's see.
Relax, Homer and Globex. We don't believe in walls. Matter of fact, I didn't even give you my coat.
Wow.
So it is Mr. Scorpion. Don't call me Mr. Scorpion. It's Mr. Scorpion.
Don't come with that either.
Yeah. So yes, it's you only move twice. It's
Yes.
a bit of a pun on Bond, I believe. Like you only die twice.
Yes.
You know, obviously with Mr. Bond showing up in the show. So yeah,
That was as close as they were legally allowed to get.
Expect you to die and leave a clean corpse. You're going to die now.
who's going to reference this? Like sue the Simpsons for referencing them?
Yeah, I know.
Especially back in that era, like when it's
True.
like what season was it? 8 or
Yeah, season 8.
Season
Like,
8.
we're talking peak Simpsons fame. Like, you know,
Yeah.
everyone had a Bart Simpson T-shirt.
Yes.
I Caramba on it and shit.
They would have
like
been able to afford a few
early
lawsuits.
2000s or whatever. Yeah.
I think we've made this point a couple of times within the show itself, but in case there's any new listeners, the thing that we've sort of figured, especially with the way that we've been doing the show, like we started at season 1, season 10 and season 20. It's like even some of the season 10 episodes don't like hold a candle to like that top tier, because you know, everybody sort of has their argument of like, oh, the golden years are 4 to 14 or fucking 2 to 10 kind of thing. And I figure it sort of really depends where you're born within that specific time frame. But
yeah. And would they be as funny if they were released today? It's also about what people's tastes are at the time. Like, something's also funny because everyone says it's the funniest episode, so you watch it. Like, you know,
animated humor has evolved so past the point of like that being able to make an impact in today's society.
Yeah, I don't think it would. I mean, he's still a great character. I think it would still be a cult thing, but it wouldn't be like referenced as one of the best bits of animated TV all time.
But at the same point in time,
maybe I'm wrong about that.
At the same point in time, animation wouldn't be what it is today if The Simpsons didn't exist.
Yeah, no, true. They're definitely a pioneer in the field.
With
the Tracy Ullman show and all that, they were like, I'm sure there was other animated stuff before that, but just mainstream popular animated show.
Like if you watch any of like an interview with anybody that like, you know, the guys from South Park, the guys from fucking like Seth MacFarlane, and anybody else that does any animated stuff, they'll always straight away say like, oh, I did this because The Simpsons.
Yeah. And I mean, probably most of the animated stuff watched in the world is stuff we're not familiar with and never will be, because if you're talking anime and, you know, like all these series. That's probably 80% of animated stuff. Like Simpsons is the most watched, but it's not. Yeah. There's not a lot of that kind of stuff. There's Simpsons, American Dad, there's like maybe 10 shows that if you go Rick and Morty and, you know, all these like mainstream. There's probably hundreds of very mainstream popular animes if you're looking at like all, you know, non-English speaking countries.
Yeah, depending on where you live.
Which it'll all be translated to English too. Like I've only watched 1 or 2 animes, so I'm not a big anime head, but even some seeped through to the pop culture a bit, like Attack on Titan. I don't know if you watched that. Like it's pretty metal.
My Hero Academia and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's ones, and there's a Lord of the Rings anime that's just come out in theaters. You can go watch. It's called Riders of the Rohirrim.
Oh yeah, I
haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's very good.
I've seen something about that. Yeah.
So there's a few shows coming through. There's one I was really disappointed it didn't get picked up for a second season. What's it called? They were on like an alien planet. It was on Amazon. It was called Rain. Man, I'm blanking here. Something Rain. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Anyway, it was really original. They only got 1 season, but it was just about like this very foreign planet, and it wasn't like your standard aliens where it's just a big dog or it's, you know, some human-like thing. It was all very kind of original, like wildlife and stuff that they interacted with. And it was kind of an anime, but it was a bit like westernized anime in the way that, like, you know, Avatar and this, like it wasn't quite, you know, or like Dragon Ball Z, the English version is. It's not full anime, you know what I mean? It's sort of a bit westernized, like. Yeah. But it was very interesting. Reign of Terror, Reign of something.
It's not all just like
someone's
chicks in like skimpy outfits.
No, nothing like that. It was a very deep, like.
It's very the style of the show to not correct anything, and we'll just leave it to the void because there's somebody out there just screaming at their phone right now.
You know what I mean. Look up Rain on Amazon if you can ever get through the fucking loading screen. I don't know, Bill Bezos is worth fucking squillions, but I still have to watch it for 10 minutes. Is that just an ad? Is that just so I have to look at Prime for like 10 minutes straight if I want to watch something?
I don't know. I've never used it.
Yeah, don't bother.
Terrible. But anyway, you only move twice.
Yes, you only move twice. So it's about Homer moving away. I'm sure everyone's seen this episode. If you watch The Simpsons, you've almost certainly seen this one. But yes, the family has to move away, and Smithers is originally offered a job at this company called Globex.
That's one of my favorite lines of all time.
Can a man just walk down the street without being offered a job in this country? Yeah.
We want to offer you a pay raise to work for Globex Corporation.
Yeah.
Something, but spoken for. Yeah.
And then so because Homer's the next most senior person
somehow.
in the company, he gets offered this job to go down and live in this town, in like corporate housing for this like mega company, which turns out to be
the name of the town?
Cypress Creek.
Cypress Creek, that's it. Yes. Yeah. So he works for Globex, who is he's a supervillain, which Homer doesn't realize, of course. He's just sort of
oblivious to the fact.
Yes.
Every interaction with Hank Scorpio is him threatening some government somewhere or in an open firefight with FBI agents.
I think when Homer first walks into Globex, they're like having a big meeting with like a huge TV and it sort of just spins around when Homer walks in.
It is like, I blow up the 49th Street Bridge. Maybe it just fell down on its own. Anyway, so very quotable episode. Like, but probably my favorite side character in The Simpsons ever.
Yeah.
It's Hank Scorpio.
Yeah.
And
You're a Globex, we don't believe him, Moss. Matter of fact, I don't even give him my coat.
So then Homer just sort of he becomes the what's his title? Sorry, Ned, you got a question?
Just the fact that like this show always just has unintentional through lines, and the one thing that I noticed straight away is like that's your favorite episode, right? Then your favorite show. It's a very, very vague through line, but once again, what's this show known for if it isn't vague through lines? Homer buys a hat in that episode, which is Tom Landry's hat. The name of the high school that Bobby goes to is Tom Landry High School.
It's a bit of he must be some, I mean, if you're American, you're probably incredibly familiar with Tom Landry. I imagine.
He's a football coach.
Some famous football. Like, I'm so far removed from that culturally. Like, I've never watched a millisecond of NFL. What's it called? Yeah, the gridiron or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we call it that.
It's impossible to watch anyway.
Homer's dream is to own the Dallas Cowboys in You Only Move Twice.
What's he end up with?
Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos.
I think that's still pretty good.
You just don't know anything about football, Marge.
Funnily enough, after this episode aired, because at the time the Dallas Cowboys were one of the most, they'd won 3 out of the 4 Super Bowls they'd featured in, and the Broncos hadn't featured in anything for a long time. And since then, the Dallas Cowboys have never beaten the Denver Broncos. They've versed 7 times since, and Denver have also won a handful of Super Bowls since then.
Yeah, true.
So Homer owning them.
So old. Yeah. I mean, owning any team would be amazing. It's sort of a good example of why. I mean, it's not that I don't like that about The Simpsons, but the thing I like about King of the Hill that we're going to talk about later is how based in reality the show is.
Yeah.
Like that kind of joke would just never, ever take place in King of the Hill, where they go, oh, you got a football team.
Yeah.
Like it's all just real life kind of, it's a sitcom basically, just animated.
It's way more relatable to real life.
Yeah. I mean, if you're only familiar with Beavis and Butthead, it's not the same kind of humor at all.
Oh, no.
It's if you watched it at a base level, you'd probably think it's a show about a conservative, red-blooded American, and isn't he the best? And he's sensible, and isn't anyone else? But if you watch it enough, you get that it's deeply skewering like that. It's satirical. Like I don't know where Mike Judge grew up, but it's very subtle. The ways in which Hank is a fool, basically. He's not this.
It's insane to me how like you juxtapose like someone with Mike Judge. With like Seth MacFarlane, right? Seth MacFarlane made 3 shows that were all vaguely, or not vaguely, they were all extremely similar, but just based in 3 different demographics.
Yeah.
2 of them were really good and one of them failed. But then you got someone like Mike Judge who makes 2 wildly different fucking shows that are both amazingly fucking successful, but like just complete like.
But then also Daria. He made Daria, which is...
Oh, he did too.
He made that, that's another whole genre. Like, it's
exactly.
a different demographic.
Another whole thing in itself.
Teenagers who like Nirvana and hate their parents.
There's people listening to this right now that like would have watched, like, or at least known about both of the shows and been like, hang on, the same guy made both of those? Like...
Well, also, I don't know if it's a super popular movie, it's a bit more of a cult following, even though it had quite a high budget. Have you seen Idiocracy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Idiocracy's a fucking fed. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It is
so
amazing.
Mike Judge movie. Like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
The whole premise is who is it? Is Luke Luke. What's his name?
It's Owen
Luke
Wilson's brother.
Luke Wilson.
You know, the brown hair, the brunette Wilson. So
Yeah.
it's him, and it's got a big
Does he
cast
get
in it, actually, because
frozen or
Maya
something?
Rudolph is in it, like young Maya Rudolph.
Terry Crews.
It's got Terry Crews. Yeah, he's fucking great in it. He's such
Yeah.
a good character. I don't want to spoil that. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I will have to
it's-
watch it.
But the
one of
premise.
the premise is so good. And well, one interesting bit of quiz about it that doesn't affect Noah about the movie, because it's got a bunch of big American brands, like the actual brands in it.
Yep.
And from what I understand, they didn't realize how hard they were going to be dunked on by like the kind of the plot of the movie. Like they agreed to have like the Fuddruckers and
Yep.
all like Subway and all this and Gatorade. They had all these in the
brought
movie.
to you by Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr. All these big companies signed up for this movie, not kind of realizing that
They were getting the piss taken out of
they're
them.
like they become like a fucking Blade Runner future dystopian nightmare of themselves. Like it's
Okay.
Anyway, the basic premise is just everyone gets stupider.
Yeah.
It's a future in which
He gets, like,
everyone is
yeah,
fucking stupid.
frozen and
He's
wakes up in the
a
future.
normal person, and he wakes up in the future. So I won't say any more of that.
And he's
But,
just like,
That's a
the
cool concept.
most intelligent person on the planet because
Yeah.
everyone's just a fucking
But yeah,
idiot.
so
They
and then
water the plants with Gatorade.
so from what I understand, once they saw the first release of the movie, like the test filmings of it, they really did everything they could to bury it, to like to destroy its marketing, stripped every marketing thing they could from it. So it didn't have a big release. It didn't do well on its box office because it got, I don't know, just attacked by lawyers and all this stuff. Like they were trying to stop it, like suppress it a bit. At least that's what I read. That's
Right.
because their name is in it and they're smeared in a crazy way. Like
Yeah.
you would never agree to be in the movie if you went to watch the movie.
Oh
after the
yeah,
fact.
like
So-
any of the fucking.
So, but that's why this is still a cult classic. But like
Yes.
with a mad cast. So anyway, so he's got a good range, like Mike Judge. It's more of just a good comedy general, you know. Like,
and once again, I didn't know that he made that, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, being
great.
able to sort of come up with that many different popular shows or movies is quite a good thing to have on your resume, whereas like some people are known for one thing and doing one thing only.
Yep. Like I reckon the guy who made The Office, what's his name? He's good, but he kind of makes the same show over and over.
Ricky
again.
Gervais?
No, not the British one, the American one. The
Steve
guy who
Carell?
adapted it. No, the guy who adapted it. Anyway, a good writer, but I kind of, you feel the same thing on a lot of shows. Where, like you said, you didn't even realize Idiocracy is made by him. You don't think of Daria as being Mike Judge.
No,
you know?
not at all.
He has some weird show that's about musicians being, like, it's also animated, but I only saw an episode or two of that. I don't know if it got picked up, but it's like a deep dive kind of mini documentary each episode on a famous musician, then animated. And
Interesting.
Like the first one was about some country singer who murdered a couple of people and like went to jail for it, and like he's an actual like bit of a scumbag. And so he kind of told the story about like, but I've never heard of this. You know, I'm not a big country music.
Yeah,
guy.
I'd never heard of.
But yeah, so he does a lot of stuff. You know, he's very prolific.
Interesting.
Not just one project. But anyway, so yeah, that's back to the first episode we're talking about. So yeah, side tangents.
Oh, they happen.
But yeah, so anyway, Homer's working for this company Globex, and the CEO, who is a supervillain, Bond-esque supervillain, takes a shining to him, and he loves him. He's just there's lots of quotable moments. He becomes what's the job title he gets? He's it's like the optimism officer or the cheering or something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
his
he's
job
in charge of like motivation or something.
the
like that.
motivation
Yeah.
Can you
coordinator
guys
or
work
something,
harder? Yes, sir, Mr. Simpson.
Hey, come
good.
home.
We need hammocks. Like, oh well, you could go down to Swing Low Sheets Chariot. That's on third.
Just put your butt there.
Put your butt there.
That's on third too.
They're on third actually in the hammock district.
Hang low, sweet chariot. That whole line was ad-libbed as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the name of the actor who plays Hank Scorpio?
Al Brooks.
Al Brooks.
Yeah.
Brooks. Yeah.
That was, I think, his fourth appearance in the show at this point in time.
Is
and-
Monorail one of the other ones? Is that him?
Ooh,
Or,
I can't remember what his
I don't
other
know,
ones
yeah.
were.
But
I
yeah.
think Lyle Landley was Phil Hartman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 True. I mean, again, a classic episode, but it's everyone says it's one of their favorites.
Yes.
Yeah. I think as well, like this episode in particular has been reviewed by pretty much everyone that reviews The Simpsons as one of the best episodes of all time, and Al Brooks being the best guest that the show's had.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's so memorable. Like, just it sticks in my mind, that episode.
He's the Mike Judge of The Simpsons in the sense that, like, the amount of times that you'll hear a character and you're like, I wonder who voices him. And you look it up and you're like, oh, it's fucking Al Brooks again.
Yeah, and who's that guy who does SpongeBob? He's weird. He's in everything. Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
It's a bit bonkers how much we bet you can kind of hear it's him. Like, but you're like, that sounds like 11 SpongeBob characters that person talking like at the same time. I can hear like bits of my legs. That guy, like
oh yeah, the fish that always gets hurt.
We're going to talk about what got us hooked on animation as younger. Like we, as kids.
Yeah,
SpongeBob.
Classic. That was my show growing up.
I got him a SpongeBob shirt and hat for Christmas.
Yeah. Classic. The Simpsons for the under 11s.
Yeah. Before the Simpsons was really funny to us. Yeah, SpongeBob
you
was
don't get
it.
the pop culture references, but you get fish being funny.
Exactly.
SpongeBob's still funny.
So
Squidward is like my favorite. He's so good. He's so depressed.
Yeah.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Patrick.
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument.
You call him Pinhead. He's got the one tooth and really small eyes.
I love those ultra close-ups. That was my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
You get a super detailed frame of just them looking like fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when SpongeBob's drying out in Sandy's house. Pinky!
I don't need it.
Pinky!
So Homer's working with his company, and then the family finds, even though their life is better in this new, they've got a great house because it's, good salary. Just when you go home, there'll be another floor on your house. He's got lots of perks of this job, but Marge finds she has nothing to do around the house.
Yeah.
Because she's, like the house is auto cleaning. It's all like it's a house of the future kind of thing. A bit like that Hal episode. She's getting hit on by the robot house.
Yeah, she's like, well, the dishes are doing themselves.
I think.
The vacuum's on
the oven's cleaning itself.
The oven's cleaning itself. The vacuum's on Dirt Patrol, and Maggie's in her swingamajig. She's like trying to toe the button off.
Yeah. All done by like 9:30 or 10:30.
Yeah, so
pours herself a glass of wine.
Maggie's like trying to hit the button. Yeah.
Doctors say that a glass of wine each day is good for your health, but I just can't drink that much.
So she gets a bit of an alcohol problem, like she's drinking wine too much.
Like, yes.
Bart goes to school and then he gets put in like the special needs program, which is some great
leg up
lines,
program.
Everyone get out your safety paper. It's like your circles of paper.
Circles of paper and your safety scissors.
Yeah. He's with the problem kids. He just doesn't know anything.
The Canada kid.
Springfield's level of education is so bad.
Warren!
Just keeps hitting him hard.
I'm from Canada and they think I'm slow, eh?
Yeah.
I had my head on the monkey bars, and when I woke up, I was in here. And then the other kid's like, I start fires.
They based a lot of the kids in that classroom off of Ralph, like hair-wise as well. Just to like...
And voice-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the same person, just does slightly variations of
probably just
voice.
Nancy Cartwright doing all of them.
Yeah.
But then I can't remember what Lisa's.
She's allergic to everything. She goes out walking in the forest.
There's all the new animals and beautiful wildlife, and she just has horrible allergic reactions to everything.
She sees the chipmunk
all over her face from a chipmunk, like running away.
Yeah,
they're all just having a terrible time. And Homer likes his job, obviously. Then Scorpio doesn't realize he's just murdering agents, even though there's like direct lines. Like, if you could kill someone on your way out, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, that'd be super helpful.
He kicks a grenade over.
Want some cream? No.
Yeah, so Homer Cannon kills multiple federal agents in that episode, as well as James Bond. Stops his escape. James Bond.
He tackles in.
Stop him! He's supposed to die.
He tackles him in the hallway. So then Homer decides to move home, which I think Scorpio's fine with, or Mr. Scorpion.
Yeah.
as he calls him.
As he likes to be called.
Yeah.
Gets home and Otto's in his house. Let me get my girlfriend and we'll go. Hey, Crystal, wake up.
Or when Otto sees the house for the first time, when they're like trying to sell it. Ooh, windows. I can't afford this place.
I mean, that's currently Sydney right now.
Oh, yeah.
I feel you, Otto. Like, fucking windows.
162 views locked out.
So then that kind of wraps up the episode. They move back to Springfield with Hank Scorpio's blessing.
I love when they're packing up the car to leave and they're about to say goodbye to everyone in town, and Flanders comes up to Homer. He's like, so Homer, you're gonna need all those things you borrowed off of me over the years, like the TV tray and the yes. Oh, okay then. Oakley dokley. Oakley dokley.
Coaches him through the.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, so just again, it's not going to be a new episode anyone's not familiar with if you've watched The Simpsons.
No, that's
I'm
it.
certain this is one that you've been told to watch or whatever, or like that sticks in your mind.
Yeah.
Sticks in mind.
It's always fun to cover it though. Like I didn't know the Smithers line was from this episode, even though it was one of my favorite quotes of the show.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there's so many good bits in it too.
Yeah, just great writing.
So
that's probably number one. The other two, again, they're kind of arbitrarily placed. They're just two other, I guess I just went for the most memorable episodes. There might be episodes I laughed more at.
Yes.
These are the ones that I remember the most. So the second one would be... What's the
Hey, get off the course, you bum! Security!
What? Golf course? Did I dream that whole thing? Maybe the desert was just a sand trap. Oh, and I bet that crazy pyramid was just a pro shop. And that talking coyote was really just a talking dog.
Hi, Homer. Find your soulmate.
Hey, wait a minute. There's no such thing as a talking dog. Damn straight.
What's the name of it? It's the Chili Cook-Off. So it's got a weird long name. That's like it's like the journey
Based
of
on
our
this.
Homer or. Yes. This episode. So again, another probably fairly predictable episode. I'm sure someone's picked it. Like it's.
I
just
don't think it's come
visually,
up before.
So interesting.
Yeah,
that
it hasn't
episode.
come up. Yeah.
That the whole dream sequence. Like I think that's part of the reason why I like it so much. Just like the weird kind of ambient. It feels like an old episode of what's that the
Twilight Zone?
Twilight Zone. It feels like that kind of weird ambient, like dreamscape, odd things. Same as in the Who Shot Mr. Burns episode with the shoots. Do the shoot, look in the shoot, like talking backwards and all that like trippy shit. That's why it stuck in my mind. But it's also got some very funny bits, like you know, in that dreamscape, he's walking back and forth with the sun, and he's daytime, nighttime, and he smashes the sun. Just note to self. Don't do anything. Just, just again another very quotable one. So the plot is there's a chili cook-off, and everyone's kind of scared of Homer's famous reputation to eat chili.
Marge is trying to distract him before the day because she doesn't want him to go. Doesn't
want him to find out about the chili cook-off, which I suppose is every year. So I guess he's just so stupid he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember that it's coming up. But yeah, for some, I guess we never really see him that he's a chili master in any other episode. It's been introduced
never
in
really
this
brought
episode.
up.
Doesn't matter for
just
this,
implied.
For seasons, you know. Again, another sticking point that would be relevant in King of the Hill. Like it wouldn't be, they wouldn't just introduce a character trait like that. That was be like the entire town knows him as the chili, the god of chili. Like without it, then coming up in multiple other episodes. It'd be all the time.
They'd sort of seeded out at some point.
Yeah, a lot of the funniest through lines in like the funniest parts of King of the Hill. It's long running background jokes that aren't even directly revealed, except in maybe a couple episodes. Like, you know, Dale, his best friend, he's a bug exterminator.
Wears the Mac hat.
Yeah, he's a crazy conspiracy theorist. He's got glasses. He thinks everything's a conspiracy. He's sniffing up. He's got tunnels under all the houses. He's a just absolute lunatic. He can't see the most obvious conspiracy that's right in front of his face is that his child is not his. and it's his wife cheated on him with this other character called John Redcorn. This kid's literally half Native American. He's 7 inches taller than him at 14 or 15. It's like, so it's just just little things like that. Like you don't get that's funny when you like the episode.
Did that come up in the Incredible Hank one where is it Jonah? He tackles him.
What's his name? His son, Dale's son. It's the son of John Redcorn. Tackles him because he's going through puberty. John Redcorn's massive. He's this huge masseuse Native American who's quite funny. He's got like all the characters, even though they're side characters, have really deep back stories. Like that's revealed slowly over episodes. It's not like one big episode's all about this thing about them.
So it's not a town of like fucking hundreds of people.
Like they have guest characters.
Maybe like 20 characters.
Overall,
but they're quite fleshed out.
Yeah, the only people that would have not much backstory would be a guest character, like Brad Pitt's in an episode, for example. He plays Boomhauer's brother. So it's like he's a one-time character just because it's fucking Brad Pitt. He's not going to have Brad Pitt coming back to record 50 episodes.
That'd be very expensive.
It'd be great. I'm sure they'd love to have him as a recurring. They do have one recurring celebrity, Chuck Mangione. He's like a trumpet player, famous musician. Anyway, the
name sounds familiar.
He's in
the name sounds familiar
weirdly.
because the name of
up in the show.
The name of the dude who killed that Hell CEO is Luigi Mangione.
His nephew or something.
That makes sense.
What a terrible shame that he didn't get away.
McVeigh.
Denied offend.
Oh, did we tell you about that?
What? No.
We got our first comment like on YouTube from like someone other than like us just randomly commenting on our own shit. It was from a dude called Timothy McVeigh.
True. On the run.
The Oklahoma City bomber. And the display
Christ.
picture was Timothy McVeigh.
So like it's literally someone
Charming.
cosplaying as him.
It's a good way to get your account watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, this is my hero. I'm going to call
We're
myself
just here.
Hitler Manson. Yeah. So anyway, another side tangent about King of the Hill, but yeah. So anyway, this second episode, this chili cook-off. So there's everyone in town is doing their chili recipes. Like there's a great sequence with Ned Flander. What's he call it? A 5X
5-alarm chili.
He's like, this is 3 alarm at most.
One, two. Hey.
He's like crying to his sons or something.
I know.
It's like, I lied.
Daddy, are you going to prison?
Maybe so. We'll see. So.
We'll see.
So then, in order to beat Homer, take him down, Chief Wiggum has got some very exotic, crazy chili, like
Guatemalan insanity
like
pepper.
chili X or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
made in the primeval forests by Guatemalan insane asylum.
Yeah.
So anyway, Homer just touching it on his tongue. Like he walks up very confident. He's like, "Oh, this chili can't hurt me." He gets out his wooden spoon.
Hey, Wiggy, my chili's getting cold.
I heard it carved it himself from a bigger spoon.
That was a good Lenny
That's
line.
a great line.
Yeah.
A rare like good line there. So he just touches this chili to his mouth and it just destroys him.
Turns his
Turns
tongue
to
like
lava.
fluoro orange.
Big Homer scream and runs away and gets laughed at by everyone. So
He's promised Marge he wasn't going to drink at this point. And he's
so he can't drink beer or whatever. Yeah, that's right. So he runs and he drinks a candle because that's the only thing he can find that isn't beer to drink.
Hey, mister, you can't drink a candle?
Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I do. And so he coats his mouth with wax from the candle in order to not taste anything. And then walks over and he just slides one of these insanity chilies down his throat.
More, please.
Which throws him into a peyote-esque kind, or like, some kind of psychedelic drug trip, like like ayahuasca kind of thing it's supposed to be. Which, so it's some kind of trippy chili. Anyway, it like wanders off into like a spiritual journey through this very trippy like dreamscape, which again, that's what I like about the episode. I think just the actual art style of it was so different to other Simpsons episodes, where it's semi in reality. Like you might have an itchy and scratchy, something wild happens or whatever, but generally they just walk around Springfield. Where this was, that's what made it stick in my mind so much.
Yeah,
and just the great lines with the coyote. Like he's visited by several spirit animals. So there's a coyote, there's a turtle at first. He has to follow.
He kicks the turtle.
It's too slow, so he kicks the turtle along, and then so he wanders through this spiritual journey with the
find your soulmate.
yeah, and so I guess it's weird. Is he kind of thinking
coyote was just a
Marge
talking dog?
Isn't his soulmate? I guess because she doesn't want him to drink beer. It's a bit of a weird relationship bump for like early seasons. I guess
it is a bit of one
because Marge puts up with so much shit from Homer. To think he's like, oh, maybe I could do better. Like that's kind of crazy for like the later established version of the relationship.
You are right.
Like because she should divorce him, and I think does in multiple episodes and like kind of side story.
They've been married a few times.
In the future, they're divorced.
Yeah.
So kind of wild Homer's like, I could get someone better. You're an alcoholic, like lunatic with no good traits that anyone else can see. Like,
and he tries finding his soulmate through other people. Like I know he talks to Mo at one point, and Mo says something about already having a soulmate. I can't remember exactly who it was.
Me neither. But Mo shows up in my third favorite episode in a good capacity.
Fuck yeah.
So anyway, so the rest of this chili one, he kind of he's looking for his soulmate. He has this whole spiritual kind of journey, which again is quite trippy, kind of like imagery. And how does it end? He finds.
He looks
Marge
in the
again.
one. He looks in the one
at a plant.
ads.
There's something about a tree that looks like Marge or something. In the
No. He looks in the one ads and he finds like somebody looking for a soulmate essentially, and calls them, and maybe they don't pick up.
Oh yes,
and then
he's all offended. He's like,
yeah.
Oh no, I don't. No, none of that. Thanks. I'm gonna go. Just hangs up. Like
yeah. And then he
Doesn't
sees
want
the
any of
lighthouse.
that.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that. That is just something concerning said over the phone.
Yeah.
Something above the PG or M rating of The Simpsons, wherever it was standing at the time.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the lighthouse. And he like runs up the top of that because he figures that there's someone in the lighthouse, so they must be lonely.
My new best friend's name is Earl.
Yeah.
And it just turns out to be an anagram for the lighthouse. It's like automated lighting system.
Yeah.
And then he's standing there in the fucking globe.
And Homer Marge sees him like fucking...
No, Bart and Lisa see him. They're in the bathroom brushing their teeth.
Oh, because they're all looking for him or something.
Lisa goes, "Is that Dad?" Bart's like, "Either that or Batman's really let himself go."
That's it. I remember the Batman image.
Yeah.
Because I guess Marge is pissed at him because she thinks he got drunk.
Yes.
She thinks he got wasted and ran off into the field or whatever, which is
Ends up on a golf
wouldn't put it
course.
past him. He does it all the time. Yeah.
And that weird staircase was just the pro shop.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is it's not a big crazy story. It's just Marge is his soulmate. But
Marge ends up finding him at the lighthouse.
That made it so memorable.
Yeah,
And it
you're
was
right.
such a different story to most of the Simpsons episodes, where it just follows like a zany side character. It was like a spiritual journey,
Yes.
All right. So
Who voiced
that's
the
number two.
Fox?
Is it James Earl? No, that's
It's
in the next
Bleeding
episode.
Gums.
He shows up in the one I want to. Yeah, but he's a side character in the next episode.
Okay.
He's as a little teaser. for that
Sweet.
one. I don't know if you can figure it out from that. He pops up. But yeah, who does the voice? It's someone famous. It's not Spock, is it? It's someone like that. Someone with a very soothing,
Yeah,
just
it is.
Johnny Cash.
really.
That's right.
There we go. I knew it was someone with a good voice. You can't do much. Yeah, that's right. And I can remember the twang of his voice in it.
Yeah,
again,
as
a
soon
classic episode. I've seen it so many times, but not for in the last day.
One of those things that exists, it's one of those things that without knowing, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a familiar. It's just a very familiar voice.
Oh, but yes.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like, even if you don't know, like you didn't know what was kind of, as soon as I said Johnny Cash, you're like, yep.
Yeah, I guess same
straight
with
away.
James Earl Jones as well. Because he popped it's such a distinct voice.
Yes.
Is he Darth Vader or is that someone else?
Who?
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones
He's Darth Vader,
is the
isn't he?
voice of Darth Vader.
not
He
the
doesn't
face
physically
that shows
play
up.
him.
Yeah. He does the all the voice in it. Yeah.
Yes.
That, yeah. Which again, classic. But so this episode kind of wraps up with a pretty simple moral that he loves Marge. He doesn't want another. She is his soulmate, which again, obvious, especially by season. Oh, it's a pretty early season. This one is season 4. Season 4 or 5?
Relatively early,
it's
yeah.
It's not super late. I think it's still box, like the letterbox kind of style. It's not widescreen yet. Which came in
you
about
are right.
Season 9 or something. Maybe season 10.
And that's the one thing that I did tend to notice, or have tended to notice in between. I don't know. It's kind of hard to I don't know. You need to there's almost groups of animation kind of thing.
Yeah,
Or
I know what you mean.
throughout time periods kind of thing. It's hard to compare things
evolution of
you can't compare season 10 of The Simpsons to what Rick and Morty is. If you get what I mean.
Yes,
Rick and
it's just
Morty
made
is this
with completely
strange,
different technology.
abstract, it's essentially The Simpsons is a collaboration of a bunch of people's different senses of humor, whereas you look at something like Rick and Morty, which can almost be said to have nearly the same amount of popularity or influence within culture, but it is literally just was up until he, touched a bunch of fucking, what did he do? He fucking messaged some underage girl or something like
it
that.
still seems to be popular than new episodes.
It is,
and I think Dan Harmon is probably the bigger driving force.
Still pretty good.
Even though he's iconic for his voice.
Yes.
So, Justin Roiland, that's what he was. He's a voice.
But my point is that is more just a look, or was just a look into one person's psyche, kind of thing.
I mean, it's also just extremely common in Hollywood.
Yes.
If you're famous, it used to be more common. No, I'm still on this. Cheers. It used to be more common, but it was just people just were fine with it back in the day. If you're Elvis or Bowie or whatever, they all fucked fucking underage people and did weird shit. That they just get a pass because they go, yeah, it was Elvis. It's it's still a fucking creep.
That's it. That's
he married his cousin.
still
or whatever,
a crime.
Weird, underage cousin and stuff.
That doesn't
Woody
make it
Allen,
okay.
Someone's attractive cousin.
Yeah. Woody Allen adopted someone and then married her.
No, so he didn't adopt her. It was his wife's adopted
some weird
daughter.
situation. But again, it kind of just gets brushed off.
Yes.
Because it was a different time. I guess. So yeah, if Justin Roiland was making stuff, the 80s, for example, I think it would have. It's not like it's a new.
That's
thing.
an interesting thought.
But like to speak of that, also like Rick and Morty, because it wasn't basing itself off an old thing. Like the new Simpsons animations still have to look like the Simpsons to a degree. You know what I mean? Like they still gotta, even though it's new and digital and stuff, they're trying to emulate the hand-drawn old animation style. Where Rick and Morty started from scratch, so you can just have a completely different animation style.
Yes.
Like it's just I mean, there's a lot of people try different things, and I don't even necessarily think animation, the actual what you're watching, is the bigger part of shows for me. I think it's the dialogue. Because one of my favorite shows ever is just hilariously bad. If you've ever seen Dr. Katz, or there's a bunch of series that's made by this guy Lauren Bouchard. He has a kind of long reign. He makes Bob's Burgers. That's his current thing he makes. But he's been making stuff with John Benjamin and all these famous comedians for like decades. Like he's just kept making shows. So you have one called Home Movies, one called Dr. Katz. Then a couple of random little shows that didn't last long. One was called Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, which was quite interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just, but those shows, they're made with something called a squiggle vision. So it's not any quality to the animation at all. It's literally just the most basic hand-drawn frame that it wobbles between it to make it vaguely movement. But because of that, it's almost like a podcast. Like you can watch it without even paying attention to it. It's just, the dialogue of them is so funny. It's just the actual writing, like them chatting. A lot of it's improvised, his stuff. So, but like the show has some crazy big comedian guests like on it, like Louis C.K. is on an episode, Ray Romano, like name a famous comedian. They were on a Dr. Katz episode. They somehow knew this dude. He was like he's this weird little stand-up comedian guy who makes little songs and stuff. But just this show, it has so many famous, like big comedians now on it. So anyway, it was just about the dialogue for me. So I think that goes through with other shows too. It's the lines, it's the quotes that I remember more than what the show looks like. It have to be pretty visually impressive. Scavenger's Reign is the show I was thinking. It just came because I was talking about good animation. That's that anime we were talking about before that I say you should check out. It's very interesting. Scavenger's Reign.
We got there.
I knew it had rain in it. So for you screaming, you can stop now. And it's not getting another season anyway, so fucking chill out. Like
the first thing you said was Rain Man.
I'm angry too. Yeah.
You did get there.
Yeah, there's no Rain Man animation as far as I know. It's a bit hard to
we would remember that.
Animate that in a sensitive way.
Gotta leave the table. Gotta leave the table.
Yeah, it's difficult to... I mean, it wasn't portrayed very sensitively, I guess, in the first place. So you're just drawing Dustin Hoffman being a bit of like weird stereotype of someone on the spectrum. Like,
yeah,
pretty classic movie though. One of the icons.
Rain Man.
Rain Man.
Oh yeah.
But weird, like to go to play that out as a non-spectrum. I don't know. I guess he's trying to tell the story. He wasn't like being insulting with it.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't like putting anything on.
But now, how many people have been called Rain Man because or on the spectrum? Yeah,
true.
People yell like they give them ammo, but I guess they were going to yell some shit.
Yeah,
call him the guy from the Goonies or whatever. Like,
yeah, everyone has like their own sort of Rain Man tangent anyway. Like for us, it would probably be lines of The Simpsons that we just can't stop saying.
Yeah,
and that's absolutely what our Rain Man ability in our brain has done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why they call it a spectrum.
Yeah.
Somewhere on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like 3 lines, it's not threshold based.
Yeah.
You're a little bit there, or like, you're just exactly in the middle of the bell curve.
Yeah, I think it's just part of being human, honestly. Like, your brain remembers things that it likes.
Yeah, we're all on a spectrum of lots of things. Like everything's a spectrum to some degree. Like how much you like cake is a spectrum of that.
Yeah.
That's a sweet tooth spectrum. But yeah, anyway, so that's the second episode. It kind of wraps like that. So my third episode, I don't know if I waited for Nettie to come back.
That's all right.
Continue, but
you can catch up.
He'll get it. So it's one of the treehouse.
It's Mo. Look, some of the ghouls and I are a little concerned the project isn't moving forward.
Can't murder now. Eating.
Oh, for crying out loud. Come on.
No! Here's Johnny! Don't! David Letterman!
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
Don't! I'm Mike Wallace, I'm Morley Schaefer, and I'm Ed Bradley. All this and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes!
So it's one of the Treehouse of Horrors, which aren't classically my favorite episodes in The Simpsons. There's some of them make hit or miss, but and again, just another one that really stuck in my mind. I think it's because of what it references in the first one. So it's Treehouse of Horror 5, which I think is season 6 because they didn't have one in the first, whatever. Anyway, so this one, it's as all of the Treehouse of Horrors are, they're parodies of kind of other famous works.
Yeah, they can be like poetry, literature, So shows, movies,
American classic novels or whatever. So this one, the first one's about The Shining. They call it The Shining, legally distinct version of The Shining. Which again, no one's going to sue you for being on The Simpsons. That's such an honor in that era of The Simpsons. You're nuts to go legally after them if they just called it The Shining.
Yeah, you are right.
Jack Nicholson is coming at me. And
they
what are you going to do? That's great for you. It's not South Park. You're not a gay fish.
It's
Kanye.
Second floor.
They're not making fun of stuff. Anyway, it's an homage to The Shining, which is one of my favorite movies ever. It's especially because I watched it around that age too. I watched it young. It was it's not a horror movie. I think it's more of a thriller.
Just to harken back 15 seconds to that, what you were just saying about them worrying about getting sued. They literally make a joke about it. When Willie walks up the fight and he's like, "You've got the Shannon," and he's like, "Don't you mean the Shining?" He's like, "Shh, don't you want to get sued?"
I guess it's funnier to do if you're going to do a parody. Part of the running joke could be that you're a legally distinct version of the original. So that's probably more it was about than actually worrying about being sued, because they do just say lots of people's real names and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, truly one of the creepiest. It's not creepy. It's unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this
music.
Have you seen the movie?
Oh, it's just the shooting. It's Stanley Kubrick. It's one of his most famous movies. And it's just it's the subtle stuff. It's forget Saw. I'm not into those
gruesome
horror, gore porn, fucking weird, just murder fantasies. Yeah, but it's my favorite scene in the movie, for example, is the kid on the tricycle, which I'm sure you've seen in a lot of the references. Probably in this episode somewhere. But they're just riding along this hallway, and there's riding on the carpet to wooden floor. And the carpets are spaced just so in a way that they sound like a human heartbeat when it's going like wood to carpet. And it just sounds like a heartbeat just running. It's just little stuff like that.
That is
people
mad.
remember the elevator of blood, but that's what I loved about it.
Was it like a sort of point of view from the back of the tricycle as well?
And it's just this heartbeat going just like the sound, the sound design and little things like that. But so anyway, they're referencing this movie, which is a classic horror movie, and it's about a family that move up to a very isolated hotel. I believe that it's a friend in the actual movie. It's a friend's hotel. He's a famous writer, and he goes, "We're going to go and watch it for them for the winter or something."
Yeah.
So because it gets too snowed in to use this cabin, so they've agreed to move up to this thing to kind of watch it, and he can work on his next book, which has been giving him trouble. Yeah. So The Simpsons kind of mirrors this in the story. They're going up. I can't remember the excuse they're going up to. It's Mr. Burns' mansion.
Yes.
Yeah. And are they doing the same thing? They're
just taking care of it essentially. Yeah.
Same kind of storyline. So it mirrors it in that way. They go
up. Remember to lock the front door. No. Turn around.
A day later.
When you lock the front door, did you remember to lock the back door? Don't. And then someone else pops up. We left Grandpa at the gas station. Just keep
doesn't
driving.
say anything.
What about Grandpa?
Another elder abuse.
I don't care.
But so anyway, that's the story. They're moving up to this isolated thing, and Homer's he can't watch TV because the cable's been cut. I think Mr. Burns thinks that if he cuts the cable, they're going to work more because they can't do anything else. They're just going to sit down and work, which I mean, obviously he doesn't know Homer. So he cuts the cable and the power. Is it the power as well? No.
He takes all the beer.
The beer, that's
cuts
it.
the cable.
Takes the cable of the beer. So it kind of mirrors the show where Jack Nicholson slowly loses his mind in this. I mean, there's no spoilers for the fucking show.
No.
It came in 1970s, 60s?
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched it by now, it sucks shit. You should have.
It's getting spoiled.
So he's about Jack Nicholson in that actual one, slowly losing his mind, and sort of one of the most famous scenes which they also do in The Simpsons, marching up the staircase where Marge has the knife and she's kind of fending him off, and in that scene is famous because it was, I think, the record for the most times a single scene was reshot.
Wow.
So Stanley Kubrick just kept making them fucking do it over, it was something like 130 times or some insane number of times that he made them redo that. So by the end, the insanity, it's like he's actually going fucking crazy. Like the darling light of my life. Yeah. And just Homer sort of does a similar thing. Like it's not a
give me the bad Marge. Give me the bad. Give me the
bad. Which Jack Nicholson, a lot of his, it's like physical, like a lot of his acting in the same way. Like another favorite scene of mine is he's just walking down a hallway, just like throwing his arm. I don't want to break the mic or anything, but it's just the physical kind of like Homer embodies that really well. Again, it's just such a good movie. So that's probably why this stuck in my mind so much, because I love The Shining. Even then, it was like one of the first scary movies. I was like, hell yeah,
and they do tend to do a very good job of those little like 10-minute segments of getting across the main points of the movie.
Yeah, they really hit all the bullet points. They get in The Shining,
like him breaking through the door and stuff like that.
Yeah,
here's Johnny, David Letterman. Hi, David, I'm Grandpa.
Yeah, so we'd see that. I didn't get that as a kid when you watch it, but then like it's only when you learn kind of deeper details.
Cultural
like,
references.
Johnny, that's Johnny Carson. Which that was ad-libbed as well. Talking of ad-lib in The Shining. That wasn't in the script. He just busted down in the door when he was Johnny. It's just Jack Nicholson being a fucking psycho. Like,
that's probably the most,
and it's the most iconic line from the movie. Definitely. Like,
Didn't it like traumatize the actor that played the lady?
I think there's one bit that he didn't. They didn't say it was coming or something, but that's a pretty common movie thing. Like they'll do something unprepared to get a real reaction, or something. And I'm sure it was just Stanley Kubrick's a real lunatic, but you're in one of the most famous movies. And what's in it? Shelley Duvall, I think, is the woman in it.
Yes,
she's a great actress, fantastic. Like just playing
still
terrified. I think she's probably 90. I think she died recently too.
Oh, okay.
And that's
very
something
recently,
like
it's a shame. R.I.P.
Something you can't fake is being scared or laughing.
Just genuine. She seemed very genuine in like her terror. Like she like very well-renowned actress. Like she was in that Popeye movie as Olive Oil, and she's the spit of olive oil. Like she looks like, and she's in a bunch of like, she was a very big starlet, Hollywood starlet back in like the 70s, 60s, 70s. I don't know. Long time ago.
Okay.
So she's not still acting because I think she's either dead or very old.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, anyway, so she's great in it. Just good actors. Little kids, freaky as shit. Like I'm sure everyone's heard Red Room over there. So that's murder backwards. You know, he sees it in the mirror. It's just the kid's like possessed by some kind of demon from the house. Although the kid is just vaguely spiritually connected to ghosts. So when he's in the house, a ghost is able to possess him or something. It's not really important to the story. Like what's important is Jack Nicholson losing his mind. You know,
yeah.
Really. So they hit all those points, and then instead of all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, which is what he's been typing over and over and over again on a typewriter like thousands and thousands of times when she comes over. That's the big turning point when she realizes he's gone fucking nuts. And he's talking to all these ghosts in the house, like there's a bartender he talks to called Isaac or something in the movie, but it's Mo in this. So Mo's trying to get him to kill the family. He's like,
kill your family.
Kill your family. I'll give you a beer. You've always been here, Homer. Just doing all the movie tropes. So yeah, he's great in that episode. And Willie, of course, shows up in this. He's in all three of these things, and in all three of them, he gets stabbed in the back with an axe.
Yes. You're not quite home yet, Homer.
Yeah. So that's just basically is The Shining, that first one, which is great. So the second one is that the cooking, the eating the kids one, or is that the third?
No, I think that's the second one.
That's the second one. So the second one is about.
No, you are right. No. Yeah,
So anyway, the second one is what's the second one?
Is the second one the future one?
Yes, the future.
Yeah,
so Homer's playing around with his microwave. I'm not sure
Toaster.
What movie this is referencing. He's Toaster, sorry.
Yep.
But what movie is this referencing? I'm sure it must be taking off an actual thing, or maybe a book.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've never watched much time travel stuff, but I'm sure it must be some real life thing. But anyway, so it's a story about Homer with his toaster, and he's going back in time.
I think it's
by
Twilight
accident. He
Zone-ish.
accidentally makes a time machine.
Yeah.
And so he's going back in time, and he's trying not to change the future. He says, "Remember what your father said at your wedding.
You're as dumb as a mule.
You're dumb as a mule. And if you ever go to the future, don't to the past, don't touch anything." And the future, it's like just this very random thing.
And if a strange man offers you a ride, I say take it.
So Homer's trying not to change anything, swats one mosquito because it's on his face.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to some disastrous consequences. Each time he goes back, there's some crazy thing that happened. Like all the kids are giant, Or there's one perfect one where he's like, oh, they're all super rich. They live in a great house. Patty and Selma have just died. They're about to go to their funeral.
Yeah.
And so he goes, oh, this is amazing. Maybe this future isn't so bad. He says, Marge, would you please pass me a donut?
Donut? What's a donut?
What's a donut? He runs off screaming, and then it starts to rain donuts outside. So it's actually
raining again.
Heaven that he left. So that's a bit of a
it's a parody of Ray Bradbury's A Sound of Thunder.
Okay. No, I feel like I've heard of that, but I haven't seen it or anything.
Yeah, neither have I.
Okay, maybe I'll have to give that a look. Yeah, I'm sure if it's as good as The Shining, like, whoever picked all three of these, maybe I'll like it.
Yeah.
Same taste. So yeah, it's just sort of, he goes back and forth in time. There's not a lot of plot to this one, really. I'm sure maybe the actual story has got a lot of depth, and maybe there's a lot of side references I didn't get because
probably
not knowing the source content, in the same way as The Shining.
I think you're right. Willie does come back like halfway through this. You're not home yet, Homer. Yeah. I can get you back, and then Maggie stabs him in the back.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Which is, there we go, Darth Vader. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. James L. Jones.
James L. Jones popped up in this episode a couple times. So that's
he does a lot of the Halloween episodes.
You're probably just fun. I bet it's a good paycheck too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got money, but come in and do 12 words.
It's like
and you're James Earl Jones, so they're not going to say, oh, that was wrong.
That's it.
It'll be first take or second take or whatever you're happy with it. You're just going to fucking leave. I'm Darth Vader. Shut up. Tell me about voices.
And it's like there's a Bleeding Gums Murphy episode where he dies, and obviously Lisa's real sad about it and stuff like that. And Bart gets money for eating the jagged metal Crustio. And he's debating on whether to buy the Ultimate Pog or the Sax on the Beach record by Bleeding Gums. Yeah. And in the end, buys Lisa the record. They play it at the radio station. The lightning hits the broadcast tower, and then the clouds appear.
It does the Mufasa thing? Is that where?
It's Mufasa, Darth Vader, and
it's just him from
Bleeding Gums.
Yeah, no. It's just James L. Jones because I'm pretty sure he was on CNN for a little while.
Yeah, did he actually die too recently? Yeah, a couple of years ago.
He died in between the time that we started the podcast and
true. I thought it was fairly recent.
Spoke about the first time him appearing.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that was the one episode that we've lost from season 1. It was, I think, the first time the audio got fucked up.
Oh, true.
We only was too.
Yeah. No. So that'll be a lost.
We're gonna have to go back and do
that'll be a lost tape. Yeah.
At some point in time.
Yeah, have to be revisited.
Yes.
As a little, pouring a podcast out.
Yeah.
I'm starting to agree with you that this is probably the best Treehouse of Horror episode.
Yeah, it's just it's the one that I remember again because
it is the most memorable.
And I think there's some kind of backstory about it that because they have a little reference at the start saying this has been deemed too violent and too graphically offensive for.
I literally made this joke yesterday.
Oh yeah,
about the intro sequence because Matt got for Christmas he got a fucking USB random USB A to USB C cable that for some reason has a speaker in it that is activates lights when you make noise near it, or it's got a microphone in it. It's the dumbest thing. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, "What's that, boy? We're on the air. We're taking over."
Do not adjust your broadcast, which I think that's another reference to some 80s movie or something, or that's. I think
probably
that is
Children of the Corn.
Or what's that Max Headroom or something? It might be something to do with that.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
was big.
Again, another reference I didn't get, but I just enjoyed that episode. But yeah, anyway, so I think that was all about they had been trying to get them in trouble with the FCC for being too offensive for children to watch.
Yeah.
So they read it with the express intention to be as violent and as terrible as possible. Yeah. This Treehouse of Horror. They were we're really going to go balls in it, which is, I mean, the third one is quite hardcore. It's about literally just cannibalism.
Yeah.
all the teachers. So anyways, we'll get on to the third one because the second one it's good, but there's not a lot of plot. It's Homer goes back and forth in time.
Yes.
He messes up the current timeline in various ways to hilarious consequences.
Don't touch anything. I'll touch whatever I feel like.
Smashing everything, go back, and then they finally end up in one where everyone still has lizard tongues, snake tongues. Close enough. That's fine. So anyway, so that's that one. It's good. It's entertaining, but not a depth of plot to it. So the third one, again, probably another reference to maybe some old horror thing or something.
No, it doesn't say.
Or is it just its own standalone story? It's the darkest of the three. It's not darker than The Shining. It's just a husband going crazy and trying to kill someone with an axe. This is cannibalism of a lot of children. Like it's quite a dark episode. So the school's running out of food. Because they have their budget cut or whatever because Springfield Elementary's garbage, unfunded, basically. So they have no food. And then is it Jimbo that he's the first sort of victim?
Sloppy Jimbos.
Sloppy Jimbo. So they start seeing the kids in detention. And does the first one die by accident or does he just straight up?
He accidentally kills.
I think
Jimbo.
one of the kids accidentally killed it. He doesn't want to waste the meat or something. So
that's right.
That's quite good. And then they start picking off the children one by one by giving them detention. Like they get Uda, the Germans make Uda
Brotten.
Uda Brotten. Today's Uda Brotten.
Don't you find it weird that Uda went missing and then we're mysteriously having food called Uda Braten?
Das ist gut. Nein, he was fine eating the Jimbo, sloppy Jimbos.
Yeah.
Yeah, have more sloppy Jimbos, second little bit sloppy Jimbos. They're eating all the kids. All the teachers become just cannibalistic monsters. Like they love the taste of flesh. And then that's the one that turns out to be just a nightmare, or is it all three?
Yes.
So after all the kids are eating, someone wakes up and don't worry, honey, it's just a nightmare. And then the most fucked up part in all of the two, and I remember, I think this is again why it's stuck in my head. It's so dark. The only thing I worry about is the fog that turns you inside out.
It's seeping in through the windows.
No. They just quietly accept their fate. And the fog just fucking takes their skin and reverses it over their bodies. So they're just a mess of veins and like capillaries, like just muscle.
And then Willie comes into
then they just start singing like a show tune.
I guess to maybe lighten the fucked up at some point, they start dancing, swinging around their intestines to sing and show tunes with Kane. So anyway, that's my 3 favorite episodes. So that's
beautiful.
Cool. There's not much more to the Treehouse of Horror ones. Obviously, they only get a third of an episode each. But they're just very memorable episodes. Those ones that stuck up there.
I agree. I can vividly remember seeing it on Channel 10 more than once throughout my childhood. As you said, the inside out bodies really sticks in your mind.
I remember that.
They just released a new wave of kid robot figures, those little ones that I've got.
Oh yeah, and you can get
one of, I think it might be either Willie or Bart that you can get as the character. So I will try and get one.
Yeah,
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
So that's the 3 again. Not particularly. The first 2 are quite predictable, but I think Treehouse of Horror. They're a bit hit on.
First one, second one, not so much. I've honestly never really, I haven't scoured the internet and looked for it, but out of everybody that I sort of know, I've never really heard anybody say that that episode is one of their favorites.
I guess again, it's more visually. That's why I remember it so much. That's why one of. So again, look, for example, you have a poster on your wall. It's from that episode.
Yeah,
it was so different. So that's probably why it stands out more to me than the other episodes.
You're right.
There's so many. There's heaps of episodes with jokes I find funnier than any of those. For example, the ambulance scene when Homer falls off the cliff, and that's of course.
Have you been listening?
I've listened to a few. I've got to catch up.
We spoke about that last week.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, I'm not caught up to last week. But again, that's of course that's funnier than anything that happens in those episodes. But that episode as a whole, I don't remember anything else about that episode much. I remember him kind of jumping the canyon and then Bart tries to do it, then Homer does it, fucking annihilates himself. But that's so funny. There's funnier jokes than these.
The second time he falls back down and gets more injured.
Yeah, and then
the trolley hits him.
As a little kid, just laughing so hard. You don't expect it to just drive straight into a tree. Him roll back out
on the
down.
same frame.
It reminds me of that viral video. Have you seen the woman getting picked up by a helicopter? She's getting airlifted. And somehow the stretcher gets caught up in the air current of the chopper, but she starts spinning at fucking 200 RPM, it's so fast, and they can't obviously just land. She's spinning so fast, so they just gotta
keep her up
wait
there.
for it. It's such a long video. It's that kind of humor. We're oh my god, I can't believe this. They captured that quite well in that joke. But,
surreal.
But I don't remember much else about that episode.
Yeah, I only do because we watched it recently.
Mentions, the one that they, Lisa makes the robot and they follow all the different stories and
Lingwo.
Lingwo. That episode where they follow they do a Pulp Fiction thing.
I think that's one of Killer's favorite episodes.
A really well written episode.
Yeah,
it's very memorable to me too.
Agreed. Because they all sort of. That's what I love about movies in general. If there's more than one sort of plot that you're following and it's going in between both stories and then they intertwine at some point.
Have you ever watched Snatch?
Yes.
Great for that. That's a good example.
Well, what did we watch the other day that was kind of like that? Bullet Train.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Yeah. Bullet Train. Yeah.
Another movie with Brad Pitt in it.
Yes.
Yep.
And yeah, Brad Pitt's character in Snatch is fucking awesome too.
Oh yeah, he's a gypsy boxer.
Yeah.
Bare knuckle boxer.
Yeah.
You like dags?
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
What? Dags. You like dags? Yeah, I like dags.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
the
that's such a good movie.
Bricktop's probably one of like the best characters ever created in fucking.
Oh yeah,
cinema.
Such a good villain. Again,
Yeah.
I love villains. That's why I love The Shining so much.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, just you genuinely believe which he probably because he is an unstable fucking like a bit of a psycho.
Yeah.
A Christian Bale in American Psycho, not my favorite movie, but one of my favorite villains.
Yes.
But you fucking believe it. When he's sitting there looking at that business card, like sweating, like
They're remaking that.
Yeah.
they've done it a couple times.
With
They did
Austin
one
Butler.
they did one with Mila Kunis already.
What?
So who cares? You're going to do worse than that.
That's for the fan to decide.
Absurdly, hilariously. I mean, she's hot, but she's not. I'm not scared of her. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure she could kill me with a knife, but it's not. I don't believe her as.
She's not
evil.
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, like even again, and he's my favorite Marvel villain. Not a massive Marvel thing, but that not so great Thor movie. It wasn't,
The Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. That was the second one, right? That's the one with
that's
him.
Technically the fourth.
Oh well, the second Taika Waititi one.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. So it was. I didn't. There's a lot of that movie I did not like.
Yeah,
the fucking army of
agreed.
7-year-olds at the end. They were just very. It was too cartoony and too much of that. Like even Flight of the Conchords was grittier than that. Like if you're talking UK, like New Zealand stuff.
Yeah.
But I did like the villain that he played. He was a god killer and like so evil, like straight up stealing the children and like sickly. So a villain. That's what I like in some things.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
again, why this one probably stuck out so much to me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, so that's my 3 episodes.
Beautiful.
Cool. Yeah. Wrapped up that segment.
Wait.
Oh, I see. Then everything is wrapped up in a neat little package.
I'm right here.
Yeah. Nice.
You're not mad at me, are you?
So we asked ourselves, who's behind the badge? Police? Cops? Police cops.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about that is